Number 216. So we have to find possible values for x. Now combine these two, common denominator, x and x plus 1. So this one doesn't have an x plus 1, so we'll put that there. Minus this one doesn't have an x, equals 1 over x plus 4. These x's cancel out, so you get 1 over x and 1 over x plus 4. Cross multiply. X plus 4 equals x times x plus 1. Then you basically get x squared plus x equals x plus 4. The x's cancel out, so you basically have x squared equals 4. X equals plus or minus 2. So that's the answer. Between these, answer choice C, -2. Okay, so in terms of concepts, you have a fraction minus a fraction equals another fraction. They all have 3 different denominators. In order to work with them, you have to have the same denominator. So to combine them, you basically multiply these two. Now you could multiply all 3 of them, but with 3 terms it gets more complicated. And so to make it easier, let's just do one side of the equation first and then the other one. So one side, x and x plus 1, then you could basically, whatever term you don't have, then you add it to the top. So this entire expression, x plus 1 over x times x plus 1, this basically cancels out and you get 1 over x, which is originally what you had. Then you say minus on the top. Well, since this already has an x plus 1, what it doesn't have is an x. So you put the x over here. So this didn't have the x plus 1, this did not have the x. So that's why you write it out like this, equals, same thing, 1 over x plus 4. Then you notice that this cancels out with this, so then you get just 1 over this plus 1 over that. And whenever you have that situation, 2 fractions, like in this format, a over b equals c over d, you just cross multiply. So whatever's in a, multiply it with d, and that equals whatever's in b multiplied by c. So this equals this. Alright, so that's exactly what we did here, and it's actually even easier because we have 1 on the top. So if we multiply this out, then we have x plus 4 equals x times x plus 1. Multiply that out, the x's canceled out, you're left with x squared equals 4. Now whenever you take a square root of a number like this with an even root, then the result is a plus or minus that number. So in this case, the square root of 4 is normally 2, but since you're doing x squared equals 4, then you have to add a plus or minus 1 there, plus or minus 2 there. So this plus or minus allows the answer to be negative, and since you have negative answer choices, the one that we want is answer choice C, -2. So as a recap, we have 3 fractions. We combined the denominators for the first 2, then realized we ended up with a fraction equals a fraction. Both of them have 1 over something, and that makes it really easy to do cross multiplication, and that's what this property is, cross multiplication. So this property allowed us to quickly solve for x, and it turns out x was either positive or -2. Of the answer choices, -2 is the one we want.